Hi and welcome everyone to another video. My name is Denis and today we're going to preview Game Week 10 of Fantasy Premier League. We're going to discuss about the best players, the best teams to target for the future in FPL, but now let's just jump straight into it. Okay guys, so as I said before in my introduction, today we're going to discuss about different topics, a lot of topics, so feel free to jump to any section you want. We're going to discuss about fixtures, about the best players, the best team to target for the future, but what better way to start the video than talking a little bit about Crystal Palace, who are a team, from my point of view at least, who really impressed me this season. And I think that obviously their run of fixtures is just starting right now, so I think that we should try to get into our team some Crystal Palace players, right? So first of all, we're going to start with Crystal Palace. This is non-penalty expected goals per 90 minutes. These are the players from Crystal Palace in from game week 1 to game week 9. So as you can see from this list, straight ahead, Mateta and Ismail Assar are the top, let's say, most dangerous players in attack from Crystal Palace. So again, Mateta would be my top target from Crystal Palace. The second one would be Daniel Munoz, and the third one would be Ismail Assar. Now, as you can see from this list, someone like Yeremy Pino could be an interesting option at some point, but at the moment, although he's cheaper than both of the other players, 5.8 millions, I just don't think that you should go there. If you have the money, I would just go for Ismail Assar. I think that he's one of the best midfielders in the game at that price at the moment. So yeah, the main idea from this graphic is that Crystal Palace are creating a lot of chances and they have a lot of chances to score. Now the bad thing is that they are missing a lot of chances, but again, you want your players to have chances, or at least me, this is how I want to play the game. And on the first place here you see Mateta, Sar, and on the fourth place you see Daniel Munoz, who's a defender. So he's 5.6 millions, but he's basically a winger who's getting also occasionally defensive contributions and clean sheets. So as I said before, Mateta would be my number one target, but then it would be Daniel Munoz, because you're buying a defender who's going to get you clean sheet and he's getting into really good positions. It is crazy right now. And Daniel Munoz, I'm really happy that he's reminding us at the moment then attacking fullbacks are still a thing in FPL. And also the good part about him is that he's also really decent for defensive contributions. Now again, this statistic is just non-penalty expected goals. Daniel Munoz, Sar, Mateta, these players have more traits attached to them, let's say like that. They can get assists, then they can create a lot of chances. So yeah, this would be my top three. After that, if you can't really afford someone like Munoz, I would just go for someone like Richards at 4.5 millions. Now again, someone like Guehi, as you can see, he has still 0.10 expected non-penalty expected goals per 90 minutes, just the same as Daniel Munoz, but I just don't think that it's going to be that sustainable. And for that amount of money, I just think that I would save the cash and go for Richard, who is also really good for defensive contributions. But again, pretty much all the defenders from Crystal Palace are really good for defensive contributions. The best one obviously is Lacroix, Richard, and then Munoz, obviously, if we talk a little bit about defensive contributions. But again, I don't really want to hype too much this Crystal Palace team, because again, it is football. They can concede goals, they can blank. We saw that with Mateta. Someone like Mateta could be subbed off at 60, at 70 minutes, something like that. They have Europe, maybe that's going to affect them in the future. But I just think that at the moment, from Game Week 10, if you want to bring some players into your team, you can't really go that wrong with Crystal Palace. Now, you don't need to bring 3 players. It is not a must. They are not essential or something like that. But again, a lot of players like me have Gyökeres, have João Pedro, and it's just looking like a really easy swap to go from Gyökeres to João Pedro to someone like Jean-Philippe Mateta. So again, I really like these options, but let's move to the next section. Okay guys, now moving forward, we're going to discuss a little bit about the best attacking teams in the Premier League. Now obviously this according to the stats, so it really depends how you see the game. Obviously we're going to discuss about the non-penalty expected goals per 90 minutes, and this is from the last 5 game weeks in the Premier League, so it is not from all the season, from game week 1 to game week 9. And yeah, we're going to discuss a little bit more about Crystal Palace, but also about other teams, and we're going to take a look also into the fixtures. So again, there is a good reason why a lot of people are want to buy Crystal Palace players from Game Week 10, right? And one of them is because the fixtures are great. Another one is that they are cheap options. There are cheap options there, good in both defense and in attack. And as you can see here on this statistic, they are on the first place. They are averaging 2.34 goals per game, which is just crazy. As you can see, they are above Liverpool, Arsenal, Man United, Manchester City, a lot of other teams, Chelsea. So yeah, they are just a phenomenal team at the moment at creating chances. Now, converting them, it is a little bit a different subject. They are not scoring the same amount of goals as they should do. But again, it is encouraging to see how many chances they are creating, and we're going to see also in a minute about that. Now, if we move a little bit, let me just show you the fixture for Crystal Palace. So from Game Week 10, starting from Game Week 10 onwards, it is Brentford at home, Brighton at home, so back-to-back home games. Wolverhampton, who are one of the worst teams in the Premier League at the moment this season. Man United, Burnley, Fulham, Manchester City, Leeds, Tottenham, Fulham, so and Fulham again. So the fixtures are good for a long period of time. They are not something crazy amazing or something that they still have to play against Man United, against Manchester City, against Tottenham, but overall the fixtures are just amazing for Crystal Palace. And now that we're here, let's take a look at some other fixtures. Liverpool, it is really hard for me to believe that we're not going to be interested in bringing some attacking players from Liverpool at some point. If you want to wait till game week 12, probably that's the best decision, the best strategy, because in 10-11 they're going to play against Aston Villa, Manchester City. But from Game Week 12 onwards, the fixtures are really good for a really long period of time for Liverpool. Nottingham Forest, West Ham away, Sunderland, Leeds, Brighton, Spurs, Wolverhampton, and again Leeds in Game Week 19. The fixtures are just great. The same goes for Arsenal. Short term, the fixtures are decent, but again, with Arsenal, we're going to talk a little bit more about defenders. Man United are a team who are also creating a lot of chances. Forest, Tottenham, 2 away games. It's not amazing. Then Everton and Crystal Palace in Game Week 13. After that, it is West Ham, Wolverhampton, Bournemouth, and Aston Villa, Newcastle, Wolverhampton. So again, you really need to see if you want to buy a lot of midfielders, strikers from Manchester United. I would advise you to be careful. Now, obviously, that's because someone like Mbeumo is going to go away to African Cup of Nations. But as long as you're going to delay that decision, it's going to be really hard for you to bring him in. And yeah. Now, if we move again, let's just see also the fixtures for Brighton, because they are also a team who is going to have a really nice run of fixture. Leeds, Crystal Palace, Brentford, Forest, Aston Villa, West Ham, and Liverpool in Game Week 16. After that, it's Sunderland and West Ham again. So a really nice run of fixture for Brighton also. If we move again here, Liverpool, as you can see, second on this list. At the moment, yeah, let's be honest, nobody's buying Salah, nobody's buying Ekitike, Isak, Gakpo. But I would say that from Game Week 12, if they're going to show some signs of improvement in attack and in defense, then yeah, someone like Gakpo could really be a nice option. At the moment, he's looking like he's the best option from Liverpool. Someone like Mohamed Salah is a little bit tougher to include him into your team, because obviously he costs a lot of money, but again, Ekitike, Isak, even someone like Florian Wirtz could be became option at some point. Arsenal, a little bit surprising to see them on this list, because they are not, I don't know, if you look at Arsenal, they're not a team who you think that are going to score loads and loads of goals, like a team like Manchester City. But yeah, they are on this list. I don't think that you should be, I don't know, rushing to buy Gyökeres, Bukayo Saka. At the moment, none of their attackers is scoring crazy amount of goals. Let me just say it like that. So yeah, Manchester United 1.65 on this graphic. They are an interesting team, because they are showing signs of improvement. They were really bad last season, but it is just not the same this year. And again, I would not go for Cunha, Mount, Sesko. I would not go for these players. If you want to go for an attacking player from Manchester United, probably it would be just Mbeumo and Bruno Fernandes. From my point of view, I think that Mbeumo is better value, but you can have some pros and cons for Bruno Fernandes also. If you have them, obviously I don't think that I would do the swap from Bruno Fernandes to Mbeumo. Brentford, fifth on this list, really interesting. Someone like Thiago could be a really nice cheap alternative to other strikers. Taking into consideration that not a lot of strikers are showing a lot of goals at the moment. Newcastle, again, here we have just Gordon and Voldemort. Again, if you ask me right now, I would just go probably for Mateta and Sar first, and then go for Voldemort and Gordon. But again, they are good options. And from Game Week 12, Newcastle are also a team who's going to have a really nice fixture swing. They're going to play against Everton, Spurs, Burnley, Sunderland, Man United, Burnley. So yeah, the fixtures are going to be decent for Newcastle. Also, Leeds, again, I would not look into them. Man City, again, you have Haaland. After that, I don't think that I would target any player from Manchester City. And Brighton, yeah, here we have Welbeck, here we have Minteh. Maybe Mintoma is going to be back soon. Minteh is my favorite pick from Brighton at the moment at that price, but Welbeck, again, if he's going to keep his starting place in that attack, he's on penalties and he has good stats, so I don't really mind Welbeck. And yeah, pretty much that's it. From Wolverhampton, you're just going to Strand Larsen, but at the moment, I just don't think that I would go there. Now, to make a comparison, I just want to show you the next slide. So here we have goals scored, so the actual goals scored. Before we talked about non-penalty expected goals per 90 minutes, and Crystal Palace were first on that list. Now, as you can see on this list of actual goals scored, Crystal Palace scored just 8. So again, it is really important. What we can see from this comparison is that Crystal Palace are having a lot of chances, but they are also missing a lot of chances. So again, maybe at some point they are going to be better, but still I think that they are great options to have. And Manchester United, in the last 5 game weeks in the Premier League, surprise or not, they scored the most goals. So they scored 11 goals, Bournemouth 10, Brighton 10. Now obviously, what does that tell us? That teams like Brighton, teams like Bournemouth overperformed a little bit their expected goals, so they scored more goals than they should do, at least. Now again, obviously, this is a lot to talk to, and it really depends if you're more of a stat guy or more of an I-type player. But again, here, as you can see, Aston Villa scored 9 goals. Maybe that's a little bit over performance from them. Spurs 9 goals, Man City 9 is pretty much how many they should score. So yeah, again, I would not look to buy players from Leeds at the moment, or at least attackers from Leeds, from Burnley, from Spurs, because the fixtures are not amazing. From Aston Villa, the fixtures are going to turn actually a little bit good for Aston Villa, but at the moment nobody's going to buy Watkins, Rodgers. They are just not reliable enough. Maybe that's the right word. But yeah, let's just move to the next section and discuss about some players. Okay, now in the next sections we're going to discuss a little bit about the players I would target, I would be interested to buy ahead of Game Week 10. Now it really depends obviously how many free transfers you have, how many transfers you want to go, how bad is your attack looking like. But at the moment, if you want to buy a striker and if you don't have Erling Haaland, I think that Mateta and Woltemade probably are the best ones. Now, alongside someone like Thiago, if you want to free up some budget, that depends. But at this price point, they are almost the same price. These two are probably the best one, and they are really interested to me. Now again, the fixtures are better from Crystal Palace slightly, and if you need me to pick just one for you, spoiler alert, I just sold João Pedro last night to Jean-Philippe Mateta, so I think that Mateta is the best, one of the best strikers to buy for Game Week 10 actually. And if you look at the expected goals and expected assists, you know that I'm really into stats. I'm more of a stat person, but again, 7.8 expected goals for Mateta, 2.95 expected goals for Voldemort. So yeah, easy decision, just buy Mateta. But again, if you look at the actual goal score for these players, it's 4 for Voldemort in 6 appearances and just 5 for Mateta in 9 appearances. So actually, Voldemort is having a better record. He's scoring more goals, taking into consideration he played less games with 3. So again, both of them I think that are going to be great options for the future. Woltemade from Game Week 13, I think that is going to be really popular, but what this graphic is telling us, what this stat is telling us, is that obviously Mateta is having more chances. Now maybe he's missing more of them, but I just prefer him at the moment for Game Week 10 especially. And another advantage he has, he's on penalties. It doesn't matter if Sar, if other players are going to be on the pitch, Mateta is the designed penalty taker for Crystal Palace. Now, Woltemade could be at some point on penalties. I'm not ruling that out, but as long as Anthony Gordon is playing and he's on the pitch, he's going to take the penalties. That's what I think, and that's how it should be. But again, it is nice when Gordon is going to be, I don't know, subbed off. Woltemade also is going to be on penalties. But yeah, big chances: 6 for Woltemade, 15 for Mateta. This is really huge, more than a half. So yeah, all the directions are pointing towards Jean-Philippe Mateta as the better pick in FPL from Gaming 10. Now, you need to take also other things into consideration. Someone like Mateta has Europe. The same goes for Woltemade, but they really don't have other options to play until Wisa is going to be back. So Mateta is, I think that Woltemade minutes are going to be a little bit better for than for someone like Mateta, but again, the fixtures are there, so yeah, both of them I think that are great picks. Please let me know in the comments down below which players do you have. But let's move to the next pair. Next up, we're going to discuss about two midfielders. Now, guys, remember, I don't really want to speak too much about Crystal Palace. That's why I didn't include players like Ismail Assar, Daniel Munoz. I think that they are just great options from Gaming 10. So I talked only about Mateta in the last section, but again, Munoz, Sar, Enzo Fernandez, Thiago from Brentford, all these are really good options depending on your strategy, depending on how many problems do you have into your team and what players you want to sell. So now next we're going to discuss about Cody Gakpo and Bryan Mbeumo from Manchester United, who are two midfielders, let's say a little bit more differential, a little bit more interesting regarding their prices, regarding their performances. Now, obviously, Liverpool are really bad at the moment. Manchester United are showing signs of improvement. These players are different. So, Mbeumo is 8.1 million. Cody Gakpo, I think that he's 7.5, something like that. Now, again, if you want to save up some cash, just go for Cody Gakpo. There are a lot of cheap alternatives to these players. But again, as I said before, at some point, Liverpool players are going to be interested. From my point of view, at least from Gaming 12, especially after those fixtures against Aston Villa and Manchester City. But if you want to jump in early, I just don't think that's a problem with Cody Gakpo. He created a lot of chances against Man United, and at the moment it's looking like his minutes are going to be solid into that team. Now, obviously, they could play Kitike there, they could play Florian Wirtz, and they could play Rion Gumoha on that left wing. So nobody is pretty much safe. But at the moment, he's looking like the best option if we take into consideration the price and the statistics. Now, if we look at the statistics for these two players, they are really similar in terms of output. As you can see, they are similar on expected goals, expected assists. Cody Gakpo scored 3 goals, 2 assists. Mbeumo scored 4 goals, 1 assist. Big chances created, 5-4. Big chances, 3-6. So again, if you have the money, I think that definitely the safer pick would be just go for Mbeumo. And if you want to go for Mbeumo, I would advise you to go as soon as possible, because in Gaming 17, he's going to go to African Cup of Nations. So you're not going to have Bryan Mbeumo for a long period of time. But again, as long as you let that decision to buy him in, then you're just not going to do it anymore, because some players are going to go to African Cup of Nations. So yeah, I would advise you to buy him as soon as possible if you want him. I think that both of them are great. If I had to pick right now, I think that I would go for Mbeumo, just because the fixtures are slightly better. He's on some set pieces. He's getting a lot of expected goals in that Manchester United team. And as I said before, I would not go for Cunha, Sesko, Mount. I would not go for these players because it's looking like they are going to rotate a little bit. Mbeumo and Bruno Fernandes are pretty much locked in for what we know so far in the season. So yeah, I think that he's a great option if you want to go there, and I prefer him to Cody Gakpo. But from Gaming 12 onwards, that's a different situation. And yeah, the same goes for Liverpool. Salah is going to go to African Cup of Nations, but that's a discussion to have in another video. A lot of players are going to be interesting from Liverpool at some point. But yeah, if you're wildcarding, if you're freighting, I don't mind Cody Gakpo. Now in the last part, we're going to discuss about two other midfielders, Minteh from Brighton Brighton, and Anthony Gordon from Newcastle. There are a lot of good cheap midfielders at the moment. It's looking like the value is in midfield at the moment because a lot of forwards are just not performing like we want them to be, and a lot of them are really rubbish at the moment. So yeah, I don't really want to talk too mugy about Gyökeres, João Pedro, all these forwards who are blanking at the moment. It is not such a fair comparison here because someone like Minteh is 6 millions and Gordon is 7.5, something like that, but these are other two players who I think that are going to be great for Game Week 10. Now with Anthony Gordon, he is an interesting one. I don't want to really advise anyone to buy him but I also think that he could be a really nice differential if you want to go there. So if you're wildcarding, I think that is a great option. If you're using your free hit, I think that is a great option. Just because his minutes are not amazing, he's getting a lot of starts. So again, obviously you want your player to play 90 minutes every gaming, but even if he's not going to do that, as long as Anthony Gordon is going to start every gaming, I think that he's going to come good at some point. Now I know it is really crazy for me to recommend a player who scored 0 goals, 0 assists in this Premier League season. Now obviously to his save, let's say, he got a red card and he missed 3 games, so yeah, he didn't play a lot of games this season, but yeah, he's on penalties when he's on the pitch, so I think that he is a shout worth mentioning. He's a player worth mentioning. I think that he's going to be okay, and obviously he's going to play against West Ham away, which is one of the best fixtures you can get at the moment this season. Brentford and Man City, and after that the fixtures are going to get better and better for Newcastle. So a lot of people are going to jump in Newcastle players after Game Week 12. So yeah, I think that Gordon is an interesting one. Now again, if we talk about value, probably Minteh is the better pick here, and I really like him as a pick. As I said before, Brighton are on to start a really nice run of fixtures, which is 6, 7, 8 gaming, something like that, which they're not going to play any tough oppositions. Let's say they're not going to play against Liverpool, Man City, teams like that, Arsenal. So Minteh, a 6 millions, I think that he's a great option. Now I need to be honest, he's not that explosive, so I'm more expecting for Minteh to get more assists than goals, and at some point he got defensive contributions, I think, in the first part of the season. So again, I would not expect that to happen so often, but yeah, at that price I really like him. Leeds, Crystal Palace, Brentford in the next 3. His underlying numbers are better than Gordon, to be honest with you. He's creating chances, he's getting chances. So yeah, Brighton are a team who really gone under the radar this season, to be honest with you. So Minteh, Welbeck, interesting options, and yeah, they are a team who we know then that they can score goals. So yeah, I think that Minteh could be a really nice option depending on which way you want to go with your team, because obviously I think that someone like Enzo Fernandez is better, someone like Ismail Assar is better, someone like Mbeumo is better, but again, Minteh, to free up some cash, I think that he's going to be just great value for the future. And the same, if you want to take a punt a little bit, if you want to go more different, I think that Gordon could be a nice option, because let's be honest, he's scoring a lot of goals in the Champions League. Surely at some point he's going to do that in the Premier League. So yeah, I think these options are really great. Now please let me know in the comments down below, what do you think about this video, which picks I missed, which picks I nailed. So yeah, we're going to see you next time. Bye.